All right, time to watch some Flash. Oop, before I start. All right, now I'm ready. Let's get into this. What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Flash, Season 8, Episode 7, Lockdown. Oh, man, I gotta tell you, I really wish we could go back in time and just end The Flash before it gets this bad, because, wow, what a shit show. I really don't know what else to say. I mean, I could go into major detail, about all the stupidity that happens in this episode, but, I mean, all I have to do really is just talk about what they are, and you can probably gauge that this is easily the worst episode this season, which is shocking to me because I didn't think it'd get much worse than Bart and Nora going back in time to wreck things further. But yeah, here we are. So we've got Goldface attacking the precinct because apparently he wants to get a weapon for Amunet Black, the little, or not a weapon, but the meta bullets so they can sell and make money as the power couple that they are. And that's kind of it. There's that little side story with the Captain Kramer, that's her name. You got Kramer and Barry kind of working together, and then at the end she finds out he's the Flash, even though it's hilarious because the Flash literally came down and told her, yeah, don't worry, I got Barry to safety. And then Barry comes in as the Flash and she's like, Barry, I know it's you. But it's hilarious because you've got this whole thing where they're working together to stop Goldface, and of course she's talking about how she needs the Flash and all of this stuff, and then Barry gets away from the exploding wristwatch and then shows up, and she's like, wait, what about Alan? Don't worry, I got him away in time. And then at the end, Barry comes in as the Flash. He's like, Alan, I know it's you. And he's like, what? How'd you know? Well, the only way you could have gotten away from that exploding wristwatch was super speed. Yeah, and the Flash told you that he got Barry away from the explode. So how is that the thing that clued her? I mean, obviously Barry was going to tell her anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it's almost like they wanted her to have that little, haha, I knew because I'm smart. And the reasoning she used doesn't make sense since the Flash explained that he's the one that got Barry away. So yeah, super speed was the reason, but not Barry's super speed. It's the Flash's super speed. Why did that make her go, ah, okay, so the Flash carried Barry away, which tells me that Barry is actually the Flash. Ha ha! Connecting those dots. Stupid. And again, it's another situation in this show where secret identities are supposed to be really important. People should not be knowing who the superhero is, and now all of a sudden the police chief just, yeah, tell her. Go ahead, Barry. Tell her who you really are. I'm sure that's not going to have any repercussions whatsoever. And it's not, because of course it's not going to, but let's be real. In real life, if a superhero was this willy-nilly, if they existed in our world, if they were this willy-nilly with their secret identity, they wouldn't exist for much longer because it would be so easy to figure out who you are for the villains, and then the villains would go after your family and all of them would die, and then you would lose your mind, and then you would go insane and end up in a mental ward. It would basically be Superman and Injustice. It would be that easy to take down a superhero if they were this nonchalant about who knew their secret identity. So anyway, that was dumb. And then you've got Caitlin going on this date with this Mark guy who's a plant guy, which is kind of, it is a little ironic because they're talking about, ooh, maybe he's going to get plant-based powers. I'm thinking, no, that would be if Danielle Panabaker was back at Sky High. But anyways, but no, this turns into a double date with Killer Frost and Marcus, and it's just stupid. I already talked about why them as a couple doesn't work and why they shouldn't have ended up together, but they did because, oh guys, isn't it just so adorable how whenever Killer Frost was fighting him, he was all like, oh, you really like me, don't you? Yeah, you like all of this. And then she was like, no, I don't. And then they did because they're children, because that's how children act. Children get all, I don't like you, when they really do. But these are adults and they're acting like freaking kids. Isn't it just adorable? This show is written by toddlers. It has to be. It has to be written by toddlers because who else would come up with this stupid storyline? And now all of a sudden they're the power couple that everybody just wants to be. Oh, aren't they just so cute? No, they're not. He's a criminal. She's a criminal. Oh, that's cute. No, it's not. He's betrayed her already a couple times, but now he's the real deal. He's really going to stand up for her. He's there to, she can trust him now. Yeah, because that's how it works in real life. If you've got a guy who breaks your trust more than one time, who lies to you multiple times, don't worry. As long as he's really good looking, I'm sure he'll turn it around. You hear that, ladies? You hear that? Yeah, listen to the Flash. Listen to them and go after that super good looking guy who keeps lying to you and breaking your trust. Just keep staying with him because eventually he'll end up like Marcus. And he'll always tell the truth. And he'll accept you for who you are. This is smut. This is like the smut books that are written for women, where you got that bad boy that you can change, and that's who you want to go after. That's what this is. This is stupid. It's on The Flash. It's on the superhero show. Oh man, migraine is forming for sure. But that whole story just basically leads into Caitlin wasn't willing to take the next step with Mark, and now she is. Whoop-de-doo. And then we also have Chuck and Allegro once again. They're deepening that relationship because so important, guys. Aren't they just so cute? Aren't they so cute, the way that she brings him food and then she's like, yeah, you're worthy of a date. Oh, I'm worthy of a date? Oh, you're also worthy of that. Who wrote this? Whose child wrote this? It's so poorly written. It's so childlike in the way that these characters act. I don't understand. I get that the CW is for young adults. Why are they writing as if they're children? Is that what young adults want to see? Adults acting like children? Is that what the thing is now? Because if so, then count me out, please. Because I don't get it. Oh my god. We also have him doing his stupid streamer personality again, which, like I said, when he first showed up doing that, I don't like that type of person. I feel like that type of character, whether it is in real life or whether it's a character you write for a show, that streamer personality is not something I enjoy watching because it feels so fake and it feels so... I guess fake is probably the best word. All the other words I'm coming up with also mean fake. Put on feels like this facade, it's just all of this stuff that basically means it feels fake. And I don't like that type of character. I don't like that character that feels like I'm putting on this personality because it's what you want to see. That's not entertaining. What is entertaining is if a character actually has that personality, but he doesn't. We see that because he's not like that in any other scene outside of when he's streaming. I don't know why we brought that back. I don't think he streamed. Well, actually, no, he did stream during Armageddon like one time. It just feels pointless. It doesn't even go anywhere. In fact, I don't think we saw him or Allegra for the rest of the episode after he was streaming, so I don't get it. The only other thing is Iris dealing with her time, whatever. I don't know. I don't care. The CGI on her eyes look pretty poor. That's about all I can mention there. So yeah, that's where I am with the Flash right now. It feels like it's just not trying at all. Not trying at all to win back any goodwill with anybody with a brain cell. It's just stuck in this mire of we're just going to play to the lowest common denominator. We're going to get some cheap laughs. Everything Goldface was doing, his whole performance, it felt like just the average, oh, I'm so menacing, but then I'm not all of a sudden. Now I'm kind of goofy. It felt like the Marvel villain writing, where just out of nowhere starts cracking jokes for no reason, just to try to get some cheap laughs out of the audience. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like a truly well written, funny character. It's just he's all intimidating, he's all menacing, and then all of a sudden, what? You don't know who Moby Dick is? You don't know who Captain Ahab is? What? I'm surrounded like a bunch of illiterates. Why is that funny? Oh, because he's not really that intimidating, guys, but then he is. Oh, aren't you scared? I hate it. I hate it here. Oh, why? I know why. I know why I'm doing this because I started this series and I want to finish it. I want to give it the beatdown it deserves, review-wise. I want to look at it and go, this show used to be good. What the hell happened? I want to really show how the writers absolutely do not give a shit anymore. They are putting in, I wouldn't even say 50%. I would say they're putting in probably like 10% of effort trying to get this show to be entertaining. They're just like, let's write some stupid jokes here and there. We'll get, 20% of our audience to laugh. Well, actually, I would say probably a majority of their audience now is just the lowest common denominator. There are probably only a few people like me who are just watching it just to see, is there anything enjoyable here at the end? In these final 2 seasons, is there anything they did that was actually good? But I'd be willing to bet a majority of the people that were watching originally because it was good and it was entertaining and it was well written, I don't think those people stuck around for probably past season 5. I know there are some people that didn't even like season 5. Pretty sure that was the Nora storyline, and that's where I think a lot of people sort of lost interest. I was still okay with it, but yeah, now I'm just basically watching just to see, is there anything good in these final 2 seasons. I'm not getting my hopes up. We'll see. So on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And now episode 8, The Fire Next Time. Another bland one. This one wasn't as bad as the last episode, but still nothing really that interesting. You got the whole mystery of this one guy burning these people seemingly, but he says he's innocent, and Barry connects with his dad, and of course everybody's going, no, Barry, you're wrong. You're too close to this, blah, 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 blah. And then of course Barry turns out to be right, because that's always how these stories go. I think it would have been a lot more interesting if he wasn't right, because that never happens in these shows. And what if one time Barry actually is too close to something and he gets it wrong because he's too close? That is possible, guys. But sure, whatever. He's innocent because of course he is. We don't know who did it. Now apparently there's a serial killer out there because, I don't know, that's interesting, right? People love serial killers, so let's do that on this show. I think it's kind of stupid because we saw, at least with the bartender, we saw him, Birch, I think. We saw him interrogating her, basically threatening her to stand down and to change her story, and the next thing we know, she's a charred corpse. So how come he didn't see what happened? All we see is him approaching her, she screams, and then he's gone, she's a charred corpse. Did he just leave her alone and then leave, and then whoever the serial killer comes in and just kills her? Is he trying to frame him, or did it just happen? Did it just happen where, you know what, I'm just going to kill these 2 people that this random fire meadow was arguing with just to make it look like he did it? And now all of a sudden it's a serial killer? Are the writers even trying? It doesn't feel like it. It feels like this is just a random set of circumstances that all happened without any sort of rhyme or reason. And then at the end of it all, Barry's just suddenly like, we've got a metahuman serial killer out there. What? I don't know, this just feels like a sudden turn of events that's leading into a longer running story that's going to make everybody go, oh no, we got to stop a serial killer, guys. What are we going to do? On the other side of things, we've got Allegra basically going against Iris's words because she's got a better story to tell, and she doesn't care what Iris says, what her boss says. She's going to do what she wants to do. And by the end of it, Iris is saying, you know what? You didn't listen to what I said to do. You ignored my orders. I'm your boss. You have to do what I tell you to do. But damn, that was some good writing, though. Because of course, it's so funny because all I could think of is the Nostalgia Critic and how he's referenced this whole, I think it's at the beginning of Pearl Harbor, I believe, when, is it Ben Affleck? Might be Ben Affleck. But he's like flying and doing all this reckless stuff, and General comes in and is like, oh, you disobeyed direct orders, you did all this dangerous stuff, you nearly wrecked all this stuff. But that was some damn good flying. He references that a lot to be that, you know, somebody not doing what they're supposed to do, doing something that would in real life probably get them fired or kicked out of wherever they are, all of that. But then the boss goes, but you did such a good job that I'm proud of you. That's what happened here. Allegra deliberately ignored Iris's orders. You know, and the thing is, what's hilarious about it is it's not like Allegra couldn't have told this girl's story. She still could have, but that's not what she was there to do. You know, you were there to tell this other story that Iris told you to tell. You didn't do it, and Iris gave you a pat on the back. Little slap on the hand, but a pat on the back. And now she's telling your article as the headliner instead of what she was planning to do. That's not realistic. That's not how real life works. I mean, granted, if you were best friends with the boss, I guess that would be how it works, but that's nepotism. And so now the show is basically going, hey, nepotism is great. I can't believe that they actually told this story. And then, of course, they have to turn Taylor into a mean girl because, ooh, catty bitches are fun to watch, aren't they? No, they're not. Maybe for your young adult female audience, but for anybody who's here to watch a superhero show, watching these two go, and it's not fun. Now, if they were actually fighting, I'm sure some of the superhero watching audience might enjoy that. But the fact of the matter is, this is not what we're here to see. We're not here to see these stories about journalism and the integrity of journalism, and you have to do what you're told to do, but not if you do a really good job on this other thing that you weren't supposed to do, then that's okay. And then your coworker's going to hate you for it. She's going to try to take you down. And why is this a story? I'm done. I'm done trying to care. I'm done trying to take this seriously. It's a trash show, so I'm just going to start trashing on it. Every review now is basically just going to be me shitting on this show. I've accepted it by this point. It's going to be fun to release some of my aggression that I have pent up, because I've not really had a show that I can release a lot of aggression on. I guess some of the Marvel shows have been pretty bad, so I have been able to really go in on them. But yeah, I haven't really had a show that I could just really rip into, and just show how stupid, how bad the writing is. Maybe I should get back into the Fear of the Walking Dead. It's been a while since I've been able to rip into that show. That might be fun. Yeah, the show's trash. And it's funny because they even threw in the whole thing with Barry and his dad, and Barry and Joe had a nice sentimental scene, and even that it felt played out. It felt done. It felt like, yeah, we've seen this conversation happen before. So even that it's lost me. Those used to be the scenes that kept me somewhat invested, even in the episodes whenever it wasn't as good in the past, like in the past few seasons. At least you still had the acting, you still had these nice sentimental moments. Those moments are dead to me now, because it just feels like you're trying to reel me back in with these scenes, and it's not working now, because the rest of the show is so bad, is so dumb, that these scenes just don't even impact me anymore. I don't give a shit. Here we are. It's not entertaining, but I hope at least I can be entertaining with these reviews, because, yeah, this show deserves to be ripped a new one. So, with all that being said, on to the next episode. I'll see you there. And finally, episode 9, Phantoms. So apparently it's not a person controlling the Black Flames, it is the Black Flames. Ooh, oh, so... Just the way this episode is written. I mean, first of all, just way, way, way too much exposition. I mean, the entire scene where Chuck is being tested by the Black Flames and trying to be drawn in, just having Cecile sitting there, oh, I feel all the pain. Wait, no, I sense there's so much more. Oh my gosh, and now this is happening. And Chester, here's what's happening. And this is what's happening. Hey guys, have you ever heard of Show Don't Tell? Forget about that. The Flash is here to say, do no showing, all the telling. Just nothing but telling. We can't tell anything that's going on, but don't worry, because Cecile's going to tell us all about it. Again, I mean, the writing is just so bad now in the show that I kind of just don't give a shit anymore. It's awful. It's terribly written. I mean, even at the end, they have to hammer it in more by having Chuck talk to Allegra and Cecile again to sort of go over why it's important to be there for somebody who's struggling with grief. I'm like, that's a very good message. You could do it in a better way. You could show it in a much more entertaining and better way than what you're doing here. Here is basically just a PSA. I mean, you might as well just had them all turn to the camera and just, hey kids, if you or anyone you know struggling with grief, don't be afraid to reach out, talk to somebody about it. And if you don't have anybody in your life like that, here, call this number down below, and they can help you sort through your grief. I mean, you might as well at this point, because it's so not subtle. It's so on the nose. I'm not here to watch a PSA. I'm here to watch a superhero show. So why do you insist on trying to have these really powerful messages forced into your show? Not subtly, not well written, just force it in there, have the characters basically spell out what the message is, so that way your dumb audience knows exactly what you're trying to tell them. It's stupid. And it's not entertaining, which is what a show, especially a superhero show, should be. First of all, with Chuck, don't really understand why him in particular. He says, oh yeah, I've been dealing with a lot of grief recently. What grief? I'm sorry, did we miss something? Because last I checked, he and Allegra were kind of hitting it off, and he was having a good time at the lab and enjoying himself. So why all of a sudden is it him that's being targeted by this thing? Why all of a sudden is it he who's dealing with all this grief when there are quite a few other characters that I could think of that probably would be dealing with a little bit more grief? But no, it's got to be Chuck, because, I don't know, we haven't had a Chuck-centric episode in a while. We got to make sure he stays relevant to the team somehow, so have him be feeling bad about his dad's death, even though we literally just had Barry go through the birthday of his dad who died But sure, let's forget about that and let's just focus on it's all about Chuck now. He's the one that's struggling with his dad's death. And then on top of that, you have this one scene where there's a dream sequence that he sees the flame burning the lab and then coming after him. And that just sets up for this whole episode could possibly be a dream sequence, which then thankfully they don't do because that would have been really dumb. But that's all that was on my mind is just like, okay, so why have that scene where he sees the flame getting out of the thing and then it turns out to be a dream and then all of a sudden it happens again and this time it's not a dream? Why? Why have that dream sequence then? What was the point of that? Just to show that he's worried about it? We already saw from some of the looks that he was giving that he was worried about it. Why do you have to, again, force extra and be like, no, let's have a dream sequence now. He's really worried about it, guys. Look how scared he is. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the fact that this isn't a person controlling the flames, apparently it's just these flames like to feed on people's grief and fear and stuff. I don't know. Is that really that interesting? If there were a serial killer, I do feel like that would be forced, but it'd be kind of interesting to find out, well, why? Why did a meta become a serial killer? What pushed them to this level? If it is about trying to basically feed on people's grief, what caused that? Why is this somebody that wants to do that? But as it is, it's like, no, this is just flames. They're basically animalistic. They just want to feed. They just want to survive. So they're going to eat whenever they sense people's fears and grief, and that's about it. And is that interesting? Not really. You're basically just taking on an animal. I mean, it's dangerous for sure, but that's not interesting as far as like a big villain. And maybe this isn't going to be the big villain for this season. Maybe this is just the temporary big bad because we don't have any other ideas to last us the whole season anymore. So let's just have these little segments where it's like, okay, now this is the big bad, and now this is the big bad, and now this is the big bad. Because writer brain no work anymore, I guess. I don't know. It feels lazy, and it feels too simplistic for me. I guess I shouldn't expect that much from these writers at this point, let's be honest. The other side of things is, of course, Iris and Sue talking to this girl in Coast City, which, does this make any sense that there are metas in other cities across the country? You know, when the particle accelerator exploded, that's what caused metas. Now all of a sudden it's, oh, anybody can become a meta if you just have the right things that all work out perfectly to cause it. But anybody can be a meta, guys. Okay, whatever. Sure. You want to write that into your story just to make things interesting? Go ahead. I'm not going to stop you because, again, I do not care at this point. You could write that metas all of a sudden turn into bagels if you don't give them a certain serum. And I'm just going to sit here and go, sure, that could happen. I don't care. I truly don't know if it's a lack of care. Maybe it's just a lack of effort. Maybe they're just tired of it all. And so they just write whatever comes to mind. And you probably have like a writing team, and all the writing team really does is they just throw ideas up at the board, and then they take those ideas and they stick it into an AI program, because that seems to be where Hollywood is trying to go these days. And so the AI program is just taking all these ideas and then writing a script, and nobody's proofreading, nobody's checking to see if it makes sense. They're just throwing it all onto a script and then handing it to the director, and the director's just working with what he has. And we're just having to sit here suffering through all the stupidity and the lack of sense and care and thought that goes into this. All in all, I know I've said it already in this video, but I am at that point where I just don't really care anymore about the show. I'm mainly just here to see how it ends. Like, I put so much time into this show. I've sat through so many seasons. I enjoyed it. It really does remind me of Bones. You know, Bones in the final couple seasons got really stupid. A lot of the episodes were dumb. They weren't really well planned out. It felt like it was the stupidest thing that was solving cases. The cases seemed stupid simple as well to figure out from an audience's perspective, knowing how every episode went. And it felt like all the character drama and dilemma wasn't that interesting either. So I was just not really enjoying myself, but I had stuck with Bones for so long that I was like, sure, I'll see how it all ends. That's kind of where I am with The Flash now. I have put so much time and effort into this show. I want to see how it ends. I'm not having a good time while doing it, but that's hopefully where I can release the aggression onto these videos. And just, I feel like if I were just watching it to watch it at this point, if I were just watching it for myself, I would not continue. I would have stopped by now, but because I have this review series, at least I have an outlet to let out all the stupidity that this show is putting me through at the moment. So that's just my thought process at this point. We'll see what happens from here, but those are my thoughts on these 3 episodes. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts on these episodes? Let me know what we can talk about and discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Flash reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of reviews on here as well as some Let's Plays, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, hope you guys have a great day. I will talk to y'all later. Peace out.